Welcome back to another video on creating a new programming language with the Rust. In this video I want to do two things. The first thing is to try to get rid of all these warnings. So let's see, there's a warning in statement. Let's start there. Okay, let's get the warnings up. Unused import. Okay, so that's an interpreter. Let's go there. Evidently, we don't need to import expression. And now there's something in parser. Yeah, we don't really need this. Does previous do anything? It just clones a token. It doesn't do anything other than that. So I think we can remove this. And now we go to statement on line 36. We don't use the initializer, so we'll ignore it. And line 44. Don't use the predicate. So we don't use any of this because it's not implemented. So I'm just going to do this. All of those. And now there's something expr, line 150. This is not used, but it is used for some debugging. I think for now we will allow it. And 298, the same for this one. And then we go to the scanner, line 341. Int value, identifier value is never created. That's interesting. How about if value? Okay, let's get rid of that and that. Huh. So actually it was used. No. It's not used. It's just this one doesn't need that one anymore. This one doesn't need that one. And we go into the scanner. New is never used on token type. On token. Really? I'm very surprised about that. Maybe I'm just always constructing it explicitly. Yeah, look at this push token. Well, if it's not used, it's not used. And toString is not used, but that one I actually do want. No, it's not. Oh, is it that one as well? It wasn't that one at all. It was in statement. And this one I want to have just in case. Finally, after all these videos, we have no more warnings. Now, I want to make some integration tests now. And to do that, let's make a test folder, and we call it integration tests, and make directory, and we'll follow this idea here, so that the Rust book says we should do. And let's just make a simple one, print line, it works. And now if we run cargo test, it does not work. So how do with the code listing in, still make a test directory, create a new file name, so integration test. It running one test. Let's do. I mean, I would be surprised if that's the thing, but let's go in here and rename it from integration test to that. Yeah. Now we try again. Wait. It's. Oh my god. Okay, so we just had some leftover things. Well, okay, it is finding it, so maybe I was just being silly before, but it doesn't know how to get the crate. Did I call it something else? Okay, maybe there's some more setup we need to do, but let's see what happens. We're getting some more warnings now when we actually run the test. Let's go into expert, 305. This one is evidently not used. And environment, 52. Okay, now we just have this problem that we cannot actually load the tests, which I'm very surprised about. Thought I did this exactly. Note that the internal errors. Should not be it. Really weird. Okay. Let's remove it. Let's see what happens. So, very nice. We also have some failing tests now. Let's get into the parser. Test addition. And I guess get something like this instead. No. Let's do it like this. And not that, but rather like that. Parser. Here we go. They all failed. So test edition index out of bounds. The length is 4, but the index is 4. Ooh, that's not nice. 348. To display a backtrace, run with, okay. Okay, that is not a nice thing. Okay, so 341 is at end. 6. Okay, so maybe I need to add an end of file token. Still failed. Nice. So now, here we go. One passed, one failed. Panicked at test equals parent. Call result unwrap on error expected, semicolon after expression. Sure. Okay, finally. Now the tests are running. It's also running the integration test here. So let's go back into that, and let's try to, what I want to do is run some source code and see that the output is correct. So let's first make the source code. Let's call it cases, and we'll make the block. We'll test something with the block statement. So I want to say a equals 2, equals 3, print a. We need to print so we get some test output, and then print a again. And so we get some output we can look at and test against. So perhaps these functions should be public. Well, we don't want that one. We just want the run thing. So what happens here? Basically, you want to run a file. So why am I not just? Well, let's see if we can get it without. Use create run file. Go into main. Okay, it seems like we cannot use integration tests if At least not this way. If it's not a library, so that's very sad. But that means I'm basically just gonna remove the tests. Now, what do I want to do then? Let's make a new directory here. We can just call tests. And inside tests, I want to make one called... Actually, let's make another directory called cases, and let's make this block thing again. And here we'll say, let's just call it integration. Now we probably need this again. Running 0 tests. Because then to get it to actually find this test, we need to like say tests, maybe like this. Huh. Okay. It's very annoying. So let's say move tests, integration to this. We go into main, we go to tests, we go into tests, mod, we run it. Still, at least it imported it, so. That's very weird. No, okay, so it's just something wrong with my Emacs setup here. Control Q test current file. No captcha. Probably it's the file name that's... yes, that's the problem. That's a little bit annoying. Okay, never mind. Let's say use create run file, and it runs. Okay. Separate block. Okay, so let's say contents is read string of cases block jlogs. We unwrap it, it should be there. Then we will say we need to capture the output. How do we do that? Okay, as you do, I googled it a little bit, so this looks very promising. If a little bit cumbersome. Probably want this one as well. And let's try, but is this really what I want? So what does he do? Command new echo. I mean, why am I actually doing this? Let's try something first. Yeah, it runs, but we don't see anything. So let's copy paste this more or less. And I want to get a string back. And std io pipe. We can also get this one. And then I actually want two strings. Interesting. Let's just unwrap that. Use crossbeam. I don't really want that. I don't want another package. Perhaps we should just use this. So it's a little bit silly, but let's try it down here. So let's make a command. And we want, maybe we need to provide the full path, but let's just try this. What do you mean? We have to move this down here. Right, and the arcs has to be an iterator. Great, couple of warnings. Let's get rid of those warnings now. So very annoying. Don't need that. Don't need stdio. So let's say let lines is output split on new line, collect into a vector of strings, and then we want there to be exactly 2 lines. Line 0 is 3, if I recall correctly. Second one is 2. Actually, it's A equals that. No, it's just that. I think. So we get a bunch of bytes out, and I want to collect those. Into a string, which I cannot. So we can instead say that this is string from UTF-8. Out, wrap, and that should do it. No. Okay, so we use stdr string from UTF-8. We need a slice, and that seems to do it. But now it is complaining that we cannot build a vector of strings from iterate over string references. So let's try this. That works. Well, it doesn't work. Fails. Panicked and unwrap. Oh, let's go to not found. No such file. Okay, great. So we should put in the full path. Which should at least solve it. No such file or directory. Still. Projects, CII, source tests, cases. We have cases. We have that file. And what happens if we actually run this ourselves? It does work. What if you just say arc? I wish it would tell us which file it thinks it's looking for. Guess it's time to export Rust backtrace 1. Some details are made it great. But this is like literally the path. Come on. But I wonder, where does it run it from? Let's try something. Can we do this first of all? Yeah, it did seem to like that. But now let me do this. Okay, it's running from there. So what if I just do this and remove that? Still no such file or directory. I don't get it. Okay, all else fails, then do some print debugging. Trying to read file path cargo test, and it's not that, it's cargo test, no capture. It doesn't work. No such file or directory. Maybe it's cargo that it cannot find for some reason. I get it now. So it's because run is actually an argument, and that's quite silly. So it took a little bit longer this time, and it ran. Great, great, great. So 3 lines, whatever. So it's quite slow. It's surprising, but it works. So now it's just adding more cases. Let's add one for a while, and it will just be this. And it should print 1 and then 0. Failed. Am I mistaken? 2. It prints. Then it's A is 1, then it prints 1. Okay, that is very silly. Let me go into block again. Yeah, so that is correct. 3, 3. And here it should be 1, 0. There we go. Great. Maybe one more. While math. So let's say times is equal to 10. While times, we don't have for loops yet, so we'll just do it like this. And then we'll have like product equals 1. Product equals product times times. And finally we will just print it here, I guess. And then in mod we will say interpret while math. Now it should be 11 lines, I guess. Something like that. $90. That and that times 7. What even is that? And then that times 6. Maybe I shouldn't have done it like this. Let's before I do too much, let's run it. Because if one of these numbers are wrong, all the rest will be wrong. And it failed there, which is exactly where it should fail. Okay, times 4, 6, 0, 8, 8, 3. And then it should be the same, and then it should be 0. Because we're not multiplying there, yes. So that one will go away. Great, everything passed. And I think that's it for this video. Cleaned up some warnings and we made some nice integration tests. And I think we should add more of these, probably also more unit tests, just so we avoid accidentally breaking the code. But that's it for this time, and see you in the next video.